Good morning, students. Vichari sir is already taking your unit number 3, functional programming, with respect to scheme. But what we thought is just to give a brush up to functional programming concepts with respect to our T2 exam, and you should get aware of theoretical concepts. So let me start with uh, our syllabus. Syllabus is going to cover elements of functional programming, which includes language of expressions, types, how to declare functions, approaches to expression evaluation, lexical scope, and type checking with respect to functional programming. And next part is functional programming in typed language, means where type is allowed. So here we are going to see how to explore a list. Sir has already started exploring a list in his sessions. Then function declaration by cases, functions as first class object or first class values. Then with respect to any one of three, ML, scheme and list, sir has started with scheme, implicit type, data type and exception handling, and functional programming features in Python. So today I am going to cover all these points as well as these theoretical concepts. For that, we are using the reference book Ravi Sethi, chapter number 8 and 9. This is our textbook. What is functional programming? It is one of the major programming paradigms. In first session, first lecture, we have seen that there are two major type of paradigms, imperative and declarative. Imperative concentrate on how program executes, like C, C++, Java comes under imperative paradigm. And declarative paradigm focuses on what is going to be executed, what is your project. And in declarative paradigm, there are functional paradigm, then logic paradigm, and database paradigm. So functional programming is type of declarative programming paradigm. Some books, they also mentioned it as applicative programming or value-oriented programming. In functional programming, everything is function. Like in object-oriented programming, you have studied everything is object, like arrays are objects or exception is handled in object-oriented way. Similarly, in functional programming, everything is considered as function based on sound theoretical framework. So this functional programming has uh, sound theoretical framework, mathematical framework. It is based on mathematical functions. For example, lambda calculus. We are going to elaborate what is lambda calculus. Examples of functional programming. First and most popular functional programming language is Lisp. Long form of Lisp is list processing. Basic data type of Lisp is list. And other important functional programming languages are ML, Haskell, Miranda, Scheme, and Logo, and many more. Even Python is also functional programming language. How it is different from imperative programming? In imperative programming, it is based on von Neumann architecture, means sequence matters. First do this, then do that. Like we execute commands sequentially. In von Neumann architecture, efficiency is primary concern. We talked about hardware capabilities, and compilers are designed to make hardware more efficient rather than suitability of a language for software development. Means, we have front end, we have back end. We want to uh, solve any problem with a machine, but here concentration is on hardware or machine rather than the problem or actual software development. Characteristics of imperative programming languages, discipline and idea, digital hardware technology and ideas of von Neumann. Incremental change of program state as a function of time. So you start with main, then main calls function add calls function accept, like this. So control is flowing as per the program states. It is a function of time. Execution of computation steps in order governed by control structures. So if it is if condition or if loop, if the condition is true, it will execute true part, otherwise it will execute false part. Depending upon control structure, computation steps, whether you are going to go in if part or else part is decided by condition in if loop or if control structure. If your condition is true, then you will iterate in while loop, like this. So these steps are called commands. It is a straightforward abstraction of the way of traditional von Neumann computer works. Similar to description of everyday's routine, such as food recipes or car repair, how you say, take in these ingredients and do these particular steps and you'll get the recipe done. Or similarly, we write our programs, take input in A, take input in B, perform some operations on A and B, and store result in C. So we just follow those steps. So these typical commands are in imperative languages are assignment commands or input output commands or procedure calls. And different languages that represent imperative languages are Fortran, Algol, Pascal, Basic and C. In functional programming, how it is different? It is based on mathematical functions. So what is mathematical function? Can you explain me what is the difference between mathematical function and procedural function? The function that you write in our assignments in C, C++, Java, how it is different from mathematical function? You are studying discrete maths. There you have studied the concept of function, relation. Is there a part or a topic called function in discrete mathematics? Shreya? Roll number 1, A division. Okay, we'll come to that point. It just evaluate an expression and use resulting value for something. It is an expression, it is not the statement x plus y. You just perform that operation and that value you may use as an input for another expression. It's a solid, as we have seen, it has a solid theoretical basis which is closer to the user rather than machine. It is but relatively unconcerned with the architecture of machine on which program will run. So it is more close to user, more close to software development. Characteristics are mathematics and theory of function. Values produced are non-mutable, means once that value is produced, it cannot be changed. Impossible to change any constituent of the composite value. So how to do that? As a remedy, it is possible to make revised copy of composite value. So if for expression x plus y, if you take x value as 3, y value as 2, 3 plus 2, the answer is 5. And if you want to change value of x, if you have to copy that expression, make a copy of that expression and then assign another value to x. But you cannot change the expression for that line. A temporal abstract a single expression to a function which can be evaluated as an expression. So here, as sir has explained you, functions are considered as expression. You can perform operations on functions similar to you are performing operations on different variables or numbers. Like we perform operation like x plus y or 3 plus 5. You can add two functions together, f1 plus f2. So functions are considered as expressions. Functions are first class values. First class values means functions are full-fledged data just like numbers list. You can pass a function to a function, you can return function from a function. So functions are treated as an object like a number, like a list, like a any other data type. It fits well with the computation driven by needs. So it opens a new world of possibilities that we are going to see how these characteristics are implemented in functional programming and how it is different from imperative or procedural paradigm. So what are the characteristics of pure functional programming language? In pure functional programming language, there have no side effects. What are side effects? So change in one sentence may affect change in other sentence. So that is not possible in case of functional programming. Why? Because they have no assignment statements. Assignment statements are missing. No assignment statements are required for functional programming. Only expressions are needed. Often have no variables. Assignment statement is missing, so no variables need to store the result. So in pure functional programming, no variable, no assignment, that's why no side effect. It is built on small, concise framework. It have a simple, uniform syntax. It can be implemented via interpreter rather than compiler. Almost all functional programming languages are interpreted languages. Sir is using Scheme, you are using Python, so these two are the examples of functional programming language. Even Lisp is an interpreted language and mathematically easier to handle. Then why we are studying functional programming? It is the oldest language from 1960s and 70s. Currently, we are using multi-paradigmal language like Python, Java. Why I'm making you to learn functional programming language? So there are some important features of functional programming language which are still in use or applicable in today's world also. So in their pure form, as we have seen what are the characteristics of pure functional programming language, it dispenses the notation of assignment. That is, it is easier to program in them as there are no assignment statements, no variables. Just you think of the expression and you can implement it. Suppose I am a scientist, I want to check, I have derived one equation and I want to check for n number of data how it will work. So I have to write a code. Instead of learning the syntax of the language or the semantics of the language or learning control structures, I just convert that mathematical expression into a program, I pass n number of values and I can check the result immediately. So easier to reason about programs written in them. FPL encourage thinking at higher level of abstraction. Support modifying and combining existing program without much efforts. You can just take a program as an input to another program. FPL means functional programming language, encourage programmer to work in units larger than statements of conventional language. So programming in large, just assume that instead of passing a variable, you are passing a function to a function. So you are treating functions as a data. So you are not working only on statements, small units like statements, you are working on functions as your small unit. So you can work on larger scale, programming in large. Another important reason to study programming, functional programming languages, it helps or it provides a paradigm for parallel computing. Absence of assignment statements, independence of evaluation order, and ability to work on entire data structure provide basis for parallel functional programming. I'll explain you this in next slide, how it is easier to convert functional programs into parallel or concurrent executing programs. Functional programming languages are valuable in developing executable specification and prototype implementation. As I explained you, if I want to check whether a particular expression is useful or it will work on how it will produce different results for different inputs, that is, I want to develop some prototype, implement prototype or executable specifications for any dummy language, it is better to use functional programming. As we are talking about, it has rigorous mathematical foundation and ability to operate on entire data structure. It is ideal vehicle for capturing specifications. FPLs are also very useful in AI and other applications which require extensive symbol manipulation. And functional programming is tied to computer science theory. It provides framework for viewing decidability questions, both programming and computers. Have you heard about expert systems? Now there are many bots which help you to diagnose your symptoms and suggest medicines that ask you few questions like whether you have cold, whether you have running nose, whether you have fever, and the bots can check the database and match the symptoms with the disease and can predict the suitable medicines for your illness. So such type of systems are called expert systems or decision making systems. It is very easy to implement such disability questions or decision making systems with functional programming languages. It also gives good introduction to denotational semantics in functions in form. So as we have seen, functional programming works on expressions rather than statements. So what are expressions? So any assignment statement like x is equal to a plus b. So right side of your assignment statement is called expression. Left hand side is you're calculating the value of expression and storing it in a variable. So we are just talking about right hand side of your assignment statement. Key purpose of functional programming is to extend advantages of expression over statement on an entire programming languages. You cannot write a program without assignment statement in imperative programming like C, C++, Java. Every statement is assignment statement. But in functional programming, you can write a program without assignment statements, that is, you're only using expressions. Scientist Backus says that expressions and statements came from two different worlds. There are different types of expression like arithmetic expression, where you are using arithmetic operators. A relational expression will result in true or false. It will check whether left hand side is equal to right hand side, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to, are called relational expressions. Boolean expression and Boolean and or not, XOR, these are Boolean expression. It will also result in true and false. Statements, as you know, when you write left hand side of variable, assignment statement and then expression, that is called statement. Assignments alter state of computation. Ordering is important. I'm going to start the camera. Let me check whether board is visible. So I have two statements. A is equal to I plus 1. I have these two statements. A is equal to A plus I and I is equal to I plus 1. Let's take value of A is 3. Board is visible? And I is 2. So what will be the output of this if you execute this statement first and this statement second time? What will be the output of this? Value of A here, it is 3. Value of I here, it is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. Right? Value of I is 2. Here it is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So at the end, value of A is 5 and I is 3. After executing these two statements in this order. But if you change the order, first statement is executed I plus 1 and second A is equal to A plus I. So now what will be the output? The value of I is 2 plus 1, which will be 3, and then this is 3 plus 3, which will be 6. So your output will be A is equal to 6 and I is equal to 2. So this output is not matching with each other. So here order is important. I cannot change the order because it will affect the computations. But if you remove left hand side, that is assignment statement, and you are just talking about A plus I plus 1. Whatever the value of A and I is, you are going to get the similar result even if you change the order. That's why it is easy to do parallel programming with functional programming, and it is very difficult in case of imperative or procedural code. You understood this? Why ordering is important? Because assignment statements modifies that value of a variable, changes the set state. Assignments alter the state of computation. That's why ordering is important. In contrast, ordering of expression is not side affecting and therefore not order dependent. So if you remove this left hand side, this is called expression and this complete is called statement or assignment statement. Different types of expressions. Any number is also called an expression. If you type a number in scheme and push enter or press enter, you will get output as a number, that number. For example, if you type 7 and press enter, output will be 7. If you write this type of expression, it is in prefix form plus x5. So you want to perform addition operation on x and 5. So it will take value of x, add it with 5 and will evaluate it into a result, that you will get the result. If value of x is 3, the result will be 8. There are conditional expression. For example, if you are going to check whether x is even. If x is even, it will return 7. Otherwise, it will perform this plus x5 and return the result. Lambda expressions, sir has explained you what is lambda. So lambda expression is function without a name. So whatever the value of x will be put in this expression and you'll get the output. So what are the properties of pure expression? We have seen properties of pure functional programming language. Then we talked about expression. Properties of pure expression are, it is value independent. Value is independent of evaluation order. You can run any expression in any order, you will get the same result. Expressions can be evaluated in parallel. Referential transparency means one variable, whatever the value of that variable is same in that particular expression. If you change the expression, if you go to the next line, its value will change. So it will refer, like in data types, we say that local first compiler will prefer local variable and then it will search in a non-local scope or global scope. So it will search that variable, the value of a variable in nearest scope. Similarly, if we are using a variable in expression, for example, I have used 2 plus 3 plus x. So a value of x, what should it take? So it depends upon the value of x used in that particular expression. Like here, suppose here I use x as 3. I'm checking whether 3 is even. Here value of x is 3. Then it will take this for this x value 3. It will not take the value which is defined in another expression. So that is called referential transparency. So it will refer to that particular variable only in that expression. Next is no side effect that we have seen. It will, any change in one expression will not affect other expressions. So no side effects. Input to an expressions are obvious from written form. So whatever you have written as an expression will evaluate into the result. Effect of operations are obvious from written form. So whatever you write, you will get the output. It is not depending upon any previous statements or next statements. So evaluation of an expression yields a value which belongs to a type. When expression evaluates, it will result a value. That value can be a number, that value can be a list, that value can be a function also. So function can return a function. Examples of functional programming language. Lisp is the first programming language since 1958. Just for your reference, Lisp interpreter is written in C language. Pure functional programming languages have no side effects. Haskell and Miranda, these are two most popular examples of pure functional programming language with no side effects, no assignment statements, no variables. But some programming languages, functional programming languages try to be more practical and which allows some side effects, which allows assignment statements. So Lisp is one of them and its dialects like Scheme. Sir has also used variables using setup function. So you can use variables, assignment statements, or you can set the value of expression to a variable uh, and allow some side effects. ML is meta language and SML is standard meta language. These languages are not pure, means it allows some side effects. Now we talked about history and what is functional programming, how it is different from procedural paradigm, and it is based on expressions, and we have seen properties of expressions. Now let's start with actual functional programming language, how to study a functional programming language. So like C, C++, Java, you started with studying number of character, what are the character set, what are the control structures, how to write a class, how to write a function in C, C++, Java. So in functional programming language, as you know, it is based on mathematical properties of a function. It has 4 components. So any functional programming language, here I am not specifying a scheme or list. We are talking general programming, functional programming paradigm. So any functional programming language should have 4 components. First one is set of data objects. On which type of data that particular functional programming language is going to operate. So basic data type is called atom or sequence. Atom is a sequence of characters. It can be a number, it can be a single character, it can be a string. So any smallest part of the language or you can call it as a constant. It is atom, sequence of characters. It can be a constant, it can be a variable, it can be a string, or and another type of object is sequence. Sequence is sequence of atoms. It can be a list of characters, list of numbers, list of list. So sequence or atom. So any functional programming language works on atom or sequence. Nil, if the sequence is empty, it will return nil. Nil means the sequence or list is nil. Set of primitive functions. Primitive functions are provided by the language, predefined functions. Then set of function forms. As you know, functional programming, everything is a function. So functions can be combined to create new functions. So what are the ways, what are the methods to combine these functions to create a new function? These are called functional forms. So every language has its own set of functional forms. And the application operations, evaluation expression to find the result. How to evaluate, what are the different ways to evaluate expression to find the result. So we'll start one by one. Set of primitive functions. So there are different types of primitive functions available for each language, like selection operations, structuring operations, arithmetic operations, predicate functions, logical, and equality. So selecting a particular element from a sequence, that is list. So some languages use first or char. Char is inbuilt function which will return first element of the list. So suppose you have provided a list of n numbers 1, 2, 3 to up to n, and if you apply char function car or first, it will just return a first element. It can be a number, it can be a list, whatever the first element of that list, it will return it. Last, as the name says, it will return last element of that list. CDR returns a list without first element. It will remove first element and returns a list without first element. These are inbuilt functions. There are many, but I am just listing few. Then structuring operations, which perform operations on the list or change sequence of elements of the list. Rotate R means we have to rotate this list towards right hand side. So this capital N will be shifted to first position, and it will start from n1, 2, 3 up to n-1. You have to just shift this list to right hand side. It will create one space in left hand side. That last element will come to the first position. When you perform rotate R, only one element at a time is shifted to right hand side. Rotate left, this list is shifted to left hand side. So first element should come to the last position, and the list will be 2, 3, 4 up n and then 1. Length will return number of elements present in the list. Cons function is add that element into the list but at first position. So if we have 11 and the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, so 11 is added at first position and it will return list. Any queries about this function, selection operation and structuring operation? Arithmetic operations, you can perform any arithmetic operation here, plus, minus, multiplication, division, mod, and it will evaluate it and display the result. Then predicate functions which result in true or false. Here you can check whether the list is null. To check whether the list is null is a predicate. It will return true or false. You have to check whether the X is atom or a list or a sequence. So atom X will return true if X is a number or a variable, but if X is a list, it will return false. There are many predicates like 0 to check value 0 or even like this. Then logical operations, you can perform logical operations like and, or, XOR, not, nor on two different operators. Equality, to check equality, EQ function is used to check equality of two atoms. Equal function is used to check equality of two lists. Different languages have different functions, but these are set of primitive functions each language should provide. Selection operations, structuring, arithmetic, predicate, logical, and equality. Next is set of function forms. Function form means we have to see how functions are combined to create new functions. So there are various function forms available in different languages like composite form, construction, insert, apply to all, condition and while. Composite form is called dot form. So again, I'm referring to your discrete maths, where you have studied functions and you know how to combine two functions. So if I have a function f and function g, so this is my function f and this is function g.
अरे मान थोड़ा सा कैमरे की पोजीशन सेट करना
Now it is visible.
yes
Function f is, it will perform f of x square and you are getting these values, and this function is going to perform this, suppose this values are x, this is y and this is z. It is function j is again it's performing square of these two lines. So here we can combine these two functions for f of h. Now what is f of h? F of g of x. F of g of x. You are combining two functions to create a new function. In functional programming, evaluation is innermost function is executed first. Then it is considered as a parameter to outer function. So evaluation is order is inward to outward. You have to execute innermost function first. So here, suppose the list is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to apply CABR. The list is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, or sorry, here, X, we have taken X. And we have to apply CABR on X. Notice CABR. CABR is a short form for CAR on X. So first we have to apply CDR on X. What is CDR on X? List without first element. So it will return a list without first element. 2, 3, 4. And then we have to apply CAR on this list. What is CAR? CAR will return first element of the list. So output is 2. So evaluation is inward to outward. If I want 3, what should I write? If I want output 3, what should be the command? CADDR on X. So first DR or CDR will return 2, 3, 4. Next CDR will return 3, 4. And then you have to apply CAR to get 3. Is it clear? Next function form is construction. Construction, you can apply list of functions on a specific list or a data. For example, here we have clubbed function like mean, max, average and median on this list 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will get this result 0, 3, 1, 1. But internally it will apply mean function on this list, then max function on this list, average function on this list, and median function on this list. So when you apply mean function on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, minimum is 0. When you apply max function, it will return 3. If you apply average function, so 3 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7 divided by number of the length of list, that is 4. 7 divided by 4, sorry, 6 divided by 4, so it will return 1 point something. So answer is 1 here. And median is again, if you sort this list, you have to get the center number as a median. But here numbers are even, so center numbers are 2 plus 1, 3 divided by 2, that is 1.5, so it will return 1. So composite means you can apply list of functions on a certain data. Next form is insert form. Insert form is called reduce function in Python or scheme. So in case of insert, it is called slash. You are applying slash on this list 1, 2, 3, 4. What it does, you know that plus operator is binary operator. It cannot be applied on a list of elements. So it will take plus 1 out of the sequence and then apply plus on remaining list 3, 4. Again, it is a list more than 2 arguments cannot be applied. So it will get 2 out of this list and then apply plus on 3, 4. So now there are 2 elements that can apply plus operation. So plus 1, 2, 14 plus 3, 4. So just forget about the syntax. It will first perform 3 plus 4, answer is 7. Then it will apply plus operation on 2 and 7. So this will result into 9. And then it will apply plus operation on 1 and 9 and result into 10. So it will apply plus operation sequentially on 2 inputs and to get the final result. So it is a reduction operation. So there is a function named reduce available in Python and scheme. Here insert is a function form. Different name of the function is given in different languages. It operates like this. You are applying this function on this data sequentially. There is a difference between this and this. Here we are applying entire function on entire data and you'll get one result. So each function is applied here. Here you are applying this function recursively to this data. Another function form is called apply to all. It is also known as map function in Python or scheme or in list. So what is apply to all? You are applying this square function on this list. So each element, you are applying square function on each element. Square of 1, 1. Square of 2, 4. Square of 3, 9. So you are applying this function to each element of this list. That is called map function or apply to all function form. Another function form is condition. Condition is implemented as if in scheme or Python or list. So here in scheme, sir has explained you this syntax. If is a keyword, then condition, then true part, else part, and everything should be in bracket. So here is an example. If I want to check whether x is even or odd, so condition is equal %x2. So if mod x2 is 0, x is even, else x is odd. So you can write a conditional expressions like this. Or if you want iterative statements, like so it is implemented by do in case of scheme. So do, you have to provide initial condition. If this condition is true, you will enter into the loop body, and then terminating condition. If this condition is true, you will come out of this do loop. Until this condition is false, you will continue to execute this loop body. Here is one example. We have initialized x to 5. I want to print hello 5 times. So I'll check whether x is equal to 5. No. So print hello, increment x. So here setf function is working as an assignment statement. I want x is equal to x plus 1. So setf function will set value of x to x plus 1. Now this is a while loop. So we have seen function forms. How many function forms are there? 6. Composite, construction, insert, apply to all, condition, and while. Some important functional programming concepts. So functional programming implement interesting concepts like curried function, type inferencing, polymorphism, higher order functions, functional abstraction, and lazy evaluation. There is the concept called curried function. The logician Frege noted in 1883 that we only need functions with one argument. We can pass any number of arguments to a function, right? But solution says that instead of passing multiple arguments, you can implement same function with one argument. So we can replace a function with more than one argument by a new function f dash of x that when called procedure for a function of another argument to compute x and y. So what is y? Y is a function which applies on y. So this is how you can convert function f of xy to a function with single argument. So initially you have to calculate f of x and then calculate f of y. So here f dash is called Curie form of a function. So function with two arguments, when you convert to function with one argument, for example, suppose I want to calculate x plus y and store result in z. So first pass the value of x, then that value is written and add that value to y and then return z. So instead of passing two parameters, I am going to pass only one parameter. So this is written in this form. Here, this is the example of a function which is taking two parameters a and b and returning result c. So this first bracket is parameters which are we are passing to a function, and arrow indicates that this is a return type. Function is taking a, b as a parameter and returning c. But we want to convert it to function with one parameter. So what we pass? We pass a and function a will return value b. Then in another function we pass value b and it will return c. So we are converting function with two arguments to one argument. That is called Curie. And uncurie is reverse of Curie. Here we are taking function with single argument and combine it to a function with multiple arguments. Some languages like Scheme also implement Curie and uncurie functions. Type inferencing, mostly many functional programming languages supports dynamic typing or no typing. You can just start writing the code without worrying about whether variable is declared or not. And the type of variable is decided by the value that we pass to the variable. Even in Python, you have seen that. Even in Scheme, you can just type expression without caring about variable declaration. So, but a language has to maintain some rules. You cannot add any two different numbers or different data types. So that is decided by type inferring. It will infer, it will find out, decide its own. Type is as inferred from that expression. Some languages like SML force user to provide type of at least one variable. So if in this case, if A is real, B is real, so function value is real. Languages like Haskell guarantees type safety. It allows expression to be evaluated if both the parameters are of same type. If A and B are of type integer, then it will allow integer addition. If A is integer, B is float, it will raise an error. Overuse of type inferencing in languages is discouraged. Means every time the compiler has to predict what is the type of variable, it will create efficiency problem at runtime. So declaring a variable provides declarations are design aids, documentation aids, as well as debugging aids. But many functional programming languages use type inference. In case of functional programming language, the scope of variable is limited to that particular expression. So if you replace that expression with another variable name, it will not change your result because you are not using assigning value to any variable. But here you are passing one variable and you are using a variable which is not declared in that expression. So which value it should refer? It should refer this value with the lexical scope immediately next expression or previous expression. So lexical scope rules use the program text surrounding a function declaration to determine context in which non-local names are evaluated. The program text is static and hence these rules are called static scope rules. So here if x is 2, here in this expression x plus x, it will take value 2. If you say x is 3 and y is 4 and this is an expression x into x, y into y. So for this x, it will take value 2. This is also value 2. This expression will evaluate to 2 plus 1, and value of this expression is 3. And then this value is going to be used in x into x. 3 into 3, 9. So which value for this expression it should be used? Immediately, whatever the previous expression, not this one. So if you look at this expression carefully, x is equal to 2, x is equal to x plus 1, and x into x. So this value 2 is used here, and then x is equal to x plus 1, 3 is used here. That is called value binding. Type checking is similar to the type checking we have seen in unit number 2 last lecture. It is referred by inferring the type. If E is integer, P is integer, F is integer, this will result into integer. So you should have type for each expression, and type names and type equivalents we have discussed in previous unit. Types can be overloaded, that is multiple meaning, plus here performing integer addition or floating point addition. You know the term coercion. Coercion is implicit type conversion. If the expression is 2 into 3.45, some languages convert 2 into float, perform floating point multiplication and give result as floating point result. But some languages like ML reject this because 2 is integer and this is real. So it is not allowed in ML to perform such multiplication operation. User has to convert either 3.45 into integer or 2 into real. Next is higher order functions. So in case of higher order functions, so let's see what is zero order function. Zero order function means data is in traditional sense. The function for which we pass a data as a variable or a number which performs on a data. First order functions are that operates on zero order functions. Note that first order functions take input as zero order function. So functions are passed as an input or parameter to a function, which are called first order functions. Similarly, what are second order function? It operates on first order function. So this order can go higher order. So functional programming supports higher order functions. Normally, up to first order functions. Many functional programming languages like Lisp, Python, or Scheme support first order functions. This is how map function is used in Scheme. Map square 1, 2, 3, 4. It will result into this apply to all or called square function. You just go through this slide, you will understand what is meaning of functional abstraction. I want to explain you this approaches to expression evaluation. Expression evaluation, there are 6 approaches: innermost, outermost, short circuit, selective, and recursive. Innermost evaluation means if for a function is expecting one argument, but instead of one argument, if you pass an expression, when this expression is evaluated, so if this expression is evaluated immediately or just before the call, it is called either or eithermost evaluation. Here, this function is called successor function. If you pass a 2, it will return 3, n plus 1. If you pass 3, it will return 4, 3 plus 1. But I am passing 2 plus 3. So how this function is going to execute? First, it will evaluate this 2 plus 3. The value is 5. Then it will call successor for 5. This n is replaced by 5 and you'll get 5 plus 1, 6. Outermost evaluation is called lazy evaluation. It will evaluate this expression lastly whenever it is compulsory to evaluate it. Till that point, it will just pass expression as a value to a function. For example, here n is replaced by 2 plus 3. So in this body of a function, n is replaced by 2 plus 3. And so the result is 2 plus 3 plus 1. Then it will get evaluated to 5. It will pass this expression as it is instead of evaluating it in a call, before a call. I'll take one more example for innermost and outermost evaluation. Lazy evaluation, it is means outermost evaluation. So an evaluation strategy in which argument or functions are evaluated only when needed for the computation. It is supported by many functional programming languages like Scheme, Haskell, and Lisp. Very useful in dealing with very large or infinite streams of data. Why I am elaborating lazy evaluation more than eager, because eager evaluation is normally used in many programming languages, but functional programming languages uses lazy or uh, outermost evaluation. There is one more example. If x is greater than 2, then x minus 1, else f of x plus 5. So function f of x, if x is greater than 0, sorry, greater than 2, what we have to do? X is equal to x minus 1. Else, I am writing in C format, just you should understand what it will do. f of x plus 5. So this is my function, and now I am providing the data. So we are going to call this function with parameter f of 2. So if for x value of x is 2, we will check whether x is greater than 2. X is greater than 2, this is false. So it will not evaluate this part, it will evaluate else part. So f of what? X plus 5. X is 2 plus 5. So here I am using innermost evaluation. What is innermost? It will evaluate this first and then pass to a function. So 5 plus 2 is 7. So this is f of 7. Now for f of 7, again this function is called by recursion. 7 is greater than 2. Yes. So this is 2. So it will enter into the if part, and what it will do, x is equal to x minus 1. That is 7 minus 1 will be 6. And it will call, it will return this x, and now f of 6. So f of 6 is again greater than 2. So it will return x is equal to x minus 1. That is 6 minus 1, the result is 5. So with innermost evaluation, you will evaluate this immediately, pass to the function. Function again will return some value. That value will be passed to the outer function, and you will get the result. In outermost evaluation, expression is not evaluated immediately. 2 is not greater than 2, it is equal to 2. So it will enter into the else part. f of 2 plus 5. Now 2 plus 5 is passed as a parameter, f of 2 plus 5. So it will check whether 2 plus 5 is greater than 2. So what will be the value? 2 plus 5 is greater than 2. It will be 2. So now this expression is 2 plus 5 minus 1. So here this expression will be evaluated. It will return the value 2 plus 5 is 7 minus 1 6. Now f of 6 will be the same to the function, and 6 is greater than 2. So 6 is evaluated, 6 minus 1, and you get the result 5. So unless and until it is compulsory, the expression is not evaluated. Expression evaluation is delayed. So that is called outermost or lazy evaluation. Next type of evaluation is short circuit evaluation. Short circuit evaluation is associated with Boolean expressions. So if you have a list, say x and p and a and b and c and d and like this, so no need to evaluate the entire equation. If a and b returns false, that means the complete expression value is false. So that is called and also. So these languages support these short circuit expressions and also. If a and b is false, entire expression is false. Similarly, or else, instead of and also, if here it is or else a or else b or else c. So if this is true in case of or else, the entire expression is true. No need to check whether B or LC is true or false. That is short circuit evaluation. Selective evaluation is if the condition is true, it will evaluate true part. If the condition is false, it will evaluate else part. Evaluation of recursive function that we have seen. It will evaluate innermost function and then that value is passed to the outer function. So first evaluating actual parameters and then substituting the value in function body. So just now we have seen how recursive function is evaluated. So more on short circuit evaluation, recursive function is here. You can go through these slides. I just want to introduce you with this term lambda function. A function object not have a name. Lambda function means functions without a name. No need to write a function name. A function object is not necessarily bound to a name. Here it is introduced with this notation by Church. Lambda x dot e. X is a parameter that is passed to this expression. So this is written as symbol lambda or the keyword lambda. Lambda x dot x into x. So this lambda x is a parameter and here we are using x into x. So here lambda x plus 1, you can see here this statement. So value of x is 3 is replaced here, 3 plus 1 it will return 4. This is another example, define foo list. This is a function which is taking two parameters and each parameter is a list. Just first parameter is lambda x plus x1. So this is nothing but a function without a name. This function returns x plus 1. This is another function which returns x into 5. So this is a list of functions, procedure and procedure. So if you run foo list, it will give you a list of two functions. Now if I want to run this second function, so second I am using the keyword second foo list, that is a function, and I'll pass parameter 6. So this will execute second function, take value x at 6, 6 into 5, that is 30, it will return 30. These are the applications of functional programming language. Just go through this and to summarize comparison of imperative and functional programming language. So we'll stop here, and for any query you can write us a mail. We are going to share these slides with you, also recording with you. Ma'am, please stop recording and share the attendance link in the chat box.
Channel.
Yes, girls, just now shared attendance in the chat box.
Hannah,
Yes, ma'am.
can you just explain them in a short about the inline and offline procedures? Offline we have already done.
I
Like,
have a lot of 10, 15. Even students are also have. Okay. You are talking about inline function?
yeah, inline function because they are knowing about. So quickly, just let them know.
Just a second, girls. It will not take much.
Girls, just stay here, okay?
Oh. So, have you heard about macros in C language or inline functions? There is a concept called inline function in C as well as Java. So, suppose here I have a main function and hash define square and x into x. So, whenever we call a function square, normally control goes to that function gets executed and control return back to the next line of a function. This happens normally when you call any other function. But if the function is inline functions are called macros in C language, or it is called inline function in other languages. In case of inline function, control is not transferred to that function body. This entire function is copied here. So whenever you call that function body is copied in your main function in number of times. So control is not transferred, it will just execute all the statements sequentially. So here we just have one line, but if there are multiple lines, x is equal to x plus 1 and then x is equal to x into x. So all these lines will be copied here with actual parameters. So here suppose I have called a function square of a. So this pair of A will be replaced by A is equal to A plus 1 and A is equal to A into B. These two lines in that program itself. So instead of transferring control from function call to function body is replaced by with the function call. That is called inline function.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Girls, you can leave. Just don't forget to mark attendance.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
And all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome everyone.